I mean, amazing story that you have put out. And this is all part of a broader investigation. It wasn't just all about Yahoo, but what really was uncovered here about the backgrounds of these people?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things going on. This is sort of the Russia equivalent to what the indictments that the DOJ released in 2014 against the Chinese PLA hackers. It's really their effort to paint a picture of how Russian intelligence is cooperating with criminal hackers that help them sort of hide the intelligence gather operations, but also help them be much more effective than they might be on their own. It's also a devastating picture of what happened inside Yahoo. These guys got access to internal systems that allow them to basically create these encrypted cookies that go on the machines and therefore access any of the users' actual email accounts anytime they wanted over a period of years. Basically what the picture is they've indicted 2 FSB agents, so these are basically Russian spies, and 2 criminal hackers who they say were basically handled by the spies, given tasks, given missions, told to go and get information on particular people both inside Russia and outside Russia, and when they came back with information, they got paid for it.
I think what's fascinating here, Mike, is that of course, this is something that was spearheaded a while ago, probably by Obama when he was president, but now this has been followed through and completed by Donald Trump as president, someone who had been offering olive branches to Russia. Do we think that was a help or a hindrance here?
I mean, that's going to be, I think, the interesting question that plays out over the next several weeks or months. In fact, some people are saying that this was a little bit of a Chinese knot that the Obama administration left for the Trump White House. Basically, they had this case all teed up, but they didn't pull the trigger on it before they departed the White House and left it for Trump to make that decision. It would have been hard, if you're think about it from a political point of view, if you're Trump not to pull the trigger on something like this, because it was really, the case was pretty well documented. But if you do, then there's a possibility that it upsets this sort of reset with Russia that you're trying to do. There's no doubt Putin is not going to hand over 2 of his spies to the U.S. government, and I doubt that people in the Kremlin are particularly happy that this is going on. So the question is, what is Trump going to do now with this effort to build a new kind of bridge to Russia?
Yeah, because it really does pull back the curtain, really, of what Russia has been doing in terms of using illegal, well, criminal hackers by their own spy institutions. Does it delve any more into perhaps some of the hacking that was laid at Russia's feet in the run-up to the election?
You know, the Department of Justice officials are saying that the cases are unrelated, but they are related in exactly the way that you suggest, which is the indictment is really detailed, and it does sort of pull back the curtain on Russia's entire cyber operations, especially one of the unique aspects, which is the way that they use cyber criminals in order to do things for the intelligence agencies. In one of the cases, one of the 2 hackers had been, there was evidence that had emerged that they were doing illegal acts in cyberspace, and the FSB, rather than picking them up and prosecuting them, used that kind of over their head to say, look, you either are going to go to jail or you're going to work for us, and they became a recruit that helped their operations on a global scale.
And lastly, Mike, just paint it forward a little bit for us now. We've got one person actually put in handcuffs, it would seem, arrested. The rest, 2 still in Russia. 1 goes free. What happens now in terms of all of this investigation?
So they at least have 1 in hand, but we don't have an extradition treaty with Russia. And given the fact that we basically charged 2 Russian spies, it's unlikely that we'll ever get those guys you know, in the hands of U.S. officials. There is another interesting twist to this case, which is the 2 Russian spies were also implicated by Russia themselves in treasonous acts a couple of months ago. At the time, everybody, and so one of them, in fact, is sitting in a prison in Moscow. Everybody at the time sort of assumed that, well, maybe one of these guys was related to the effort by the CIA and other U.S. intelligence agencies to basically get information on what Russian hackers did during the election. But now with this latest twist, the fact that the guys that were arrested a couple of months ago are in fact implicated in this Yahoo case, it's possible, I suppose, that maybe Russia just got a sense that this was coming, and they picked these guys up as a way to figure out what they knew, what they were vulnerable to, and what they may have done in terms of communications with Western officials.